Welcome to Blatant-ish, a podcast where my mom and I discuss our opinions on a variety of topics while attempting to navigate a generational gap of 18 years. Sometimes we agree, more often we don't. But either way, we're taking you along for the ride. So remember to buckle up and let's get blatant-ish.
Episode 1, we made it. After all these weeks of us just like researching and planning and spending money, we are here. Welcome to Blatant-ish.
You spent a lot of money.
I spent some money.
Welcome to Blatant-ish.
I'm the host, Brandy, a.k.a. Mom.
And I'm your co-host, Nick, a.k.a. her son.
So what is the podcast all about? Why don't you tell us that? Let's start there.
Well, our podcast is going to cover a wide range of topics, from Marvel TV shows to relationship advice, but really it's going to be about making meaningful connections with people around you through conversation. That's what we're always going to come back to. So what is today's episode going to be about?
Well, today's episode is about introductions. Instead of us sitting here prattling on about ourselves, we thought it might be fun to ask each other questions.
Yeah, I think that will be a lot of fun. Why don't you go ahead and get us started with the first question then?
What are some big life events that have happened to you in the last year?
Oh, man. Well, probably the biggest one I could think of is the birth of my son. That one's a big one. That might be the biggest thing that might ever happen to me in my life. I'm having to adjust to being a dad and living life with he feels like a toddler. I refer to him as a toddler, and he's only like 10 months. So he's not really a toddler, but he's like walking and screaming and making noise. So he feels like a toddler.
He's almost 11 months in just a few days. I know.
Stop reminding me. And like, you know, all the parents are always like, oh my God, they grow up so fast, but they do. They grow up insanely fast, and it is insane. And when you experience it, like he was born yesterday, but he wasn't. It was 11 months ago.
Right. I tried to warn you.
No. So that was a big one. Preparing for a wedding, planning a wedding is awful. The wedding might be nice. I'm really hoping the wedding feels nice. It's going to be fun, but the planning
We're all
process,
excited.
The planning process is awful. Don't plan a wedding. Hire someone to do that for you and just show up.
That'll be another podcast.
Another podcast, yeah. The other big thing that I've been doing is trying to start my own business. That's a big one. Mm-hmm. Alongside preparing to do a podcast. And there's a lot of overlap with like trying to figure out what the best way to market things is, and making like business cards and logos and all that kind of stuff. And I have no idea what I'm doing. So I'm, at all. Like me and Brooke are trying to start a social media business.
Brooke, your fiance?
My fiance, yeah.
Baby mama?
Uh-huh. And we're trying to start a social media business, and we know how to do social media. We don't know how to start a business. So my first question for you.
Oh, boy.
When placing a roll of toilet paper on the holder, does the paper flip over the roll, or does the paper need to hang under the roll?
What you can't see is I'm pretending to put the toilet paper roll on.
Yeah, because you gotta think about
over.
It. Yeah, because this is a highly debated topic.
Definitely over.
I agree. I'm an over person, because if it's under, I feel like you've got to like reach and I'm making hand motions too. We both talk with our hands. It's gonna be awkward on a podcast. You got to like reach under and pull it, and it doesn't pull off nicely that way or anything. So yeah, that's my first hard hitting question.
Definitely over.
Definitely over.
For sure. All right. So my second question for you is, if you could be any ocean animal, what would you be? And you can say why if you want.
If I could be any, you know that fish? I think it's the anglerfish,
like from Ark.
But there's a real one. It's not just a video game fish.
No,
yeah, not the one from Ark, the non-pixelated variety.
Yes.
I like that thing. I've always been fascinated with that thing. I don't think it represents me as a person at all, because he's kind of got this like little bobbly, and he's like, the little fish swims up, and he's like, got you.
That was loud.
That was loud, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't clap. But yeah, I like probably the anglerfish.
Fair enough.
Not because I think it represents me at all, but just because it's kind of badass.
It would be cool if it really had that light on it.
It does.
In real life?
In real life. It's a
Are
real
you shitting me?
No, it's a real fish.
I know it's a real fish.
It has
the light on it like it does in the video game.
100%. No, they live in the bottom of the ocean, and they have the little light, and they'll settle down in like the sand and stuff, and they'll dingle. That's why it's called an angler. It dingles.
Folks, you're never too old to learn something.
Yeah, it dangles it out, and then the fish will see the light, and like they'll go for it to try to eat it, and then it pops up with its big, terrifying teeth and eats the other fish. That's how it tracks prey.
I don't even know how to respond to that.
That's totally. Look it up. It's a real fish. I swear, totally real fish.
Next question.
Yeah. Describe what you do for a living without telling me what you do for a living.
It's all about sucking and blowing. It's a bar from my friend from respiratory school.
Oh, I wasn't ready for that. I didn't expect you to just jump right on that question.
And it could be a bit misleading.
So now tell me what you do for a living.
I am a respiratory therapist. So I'm a healthcare professional.
You're a what?
Respiratory therapist.
A respiratory therapist. Wow.
Yeah. I'm a registered respiratory therapist, to be exact.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing it for almost 20 years. I worked exclusively in hospitals. If you can't breathe or you're in a crisis situation, you want to see my face looking down at you. Like EMS or first responders outside the hospital, respiratory therapy, we're the first responders inside of the hospital.
Awesome.
And that's what I do. We've been very important during COVID. Just saying. I am patting myself on the back.
I'm clapping. I
Just
was applauding you.
I'm a hero.
I think Mom's a hero.
In case you didn't know. Well, thank you. Next question. What is your educational background?
My educational background is education. The study in thereof. I went to school at a community college for 3 years for music education. Got my associates of arts with an emphasis on percussion, on drums. Then I went to a 4-year. I took a couple years off. I taught a lot of private music lessons. I taught at some private schools. I taught at some public schools. And then I went back to get my bachelor's degree in music education. Went all the way up to my last semester. As you know, they found a tumor on my parathyroid. I was
going to say you had some difficulties.
Had some medical stuff. Yep. All healthy now, of course.
Non-cancerous.
Thank
goodness.
But that I missed school for 4 weeks in my last semester. I was preparing for my big senior recital.
Yes.
And I just kind of had a situation where I was like, this isn't what I want to be doing. And I changed my mind there in my last, I call it my mortality crisis.
Yes.
In my last semester of school, and I kind of dipped out. And just recently I got back on to Western Governors University online.
And what's your major now?
Secondary math education. So
You've always excelled at math.
No, I was going to be a math major, decided to go for music, almost finished it, and now I'm back at the beginning. And I've really almost had to start over. I'm taking all the math classes, college algebra, all over again. But it really pulls to the center of what I want to do, and that's teach. It doesn't really matter. I always tell people, music has just been the vehicle for me. I teach people.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, nice heavy-hitting third question. If you could be a dinosaur, what dinosaur would you want to be?
A T-Rex. Definitely.
What dinosaur would you not want to be? The absolute worst one. See, I knew you were going to say on the first one. But I wanted to hit you
T-Rex is absolutely, it's like the equivalent of King of the Jungle, you know? Except for the teeny tiny hand.
I say there's some debate on that. Like the T-Rex might not have been like the big one.
Okay, in my mind he is.
So you want the big guy?
I guess I could say a Giganotosaurus.
Yeah, or the
or what some of the Titanosaurs or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a dinosaur geek, just FYI. One I would not want to be. Wow, an iguanodon.
They're kind of dopey.
They're squishy.
Yeah, I don't think iguana if all the dinosaurs went extinct, but I like to think the iguanodon went extinct first.
They're squishy.
Like it was like there, and then it wasn't. Like it didn't make it to the meteor.
Yeah,
it was eaten before that.
Right,
eaten by the T-Rex.
That's funny. I'm actually wearing my T-Rex shirt.
You are wearing your T-Rex shirt.
Okay. If you were on an island and you could only have one album, what would it be?
Coheed and Cambria, Good Apollo, I'm Burning Star 4.
You have got. I hope I am not stranded on that island with you. Oh my gosh, I can't stand them.
Good Apollo, I'm Burning Star 4 by Coheed and Cambria is my favorite album of all time.
Ugh.
The whole thing from start to finish is a work of art. That's always my answer to that question. If I could have 2 albums,
Yes.
Fallout Boy, maybe. No, Best of the Eagles.
Great album.
Best of the Eagles, like their greatest hits. That
That
would
was
be the one.
that's great.
Yeah, but Coheed and Cambria, Good Apollo, Burning Star 4.
I think you know what I would choose.
Slippery When Wet, Bon Jovi.
Yes, exactly.
Ooh, nailed it.
Nailed it. Next question.
What is your favorite quality that I have that I definitely did not get from you?
Oh gosh, that's a thought-provoking question.
We may have to come back to that one. So introspectively, this is also like, what's a quality you wish that you had?
Well, I covet your math skills. Your math skills, because I'm horrible at math. I wish I had and you did not get that from me.
No, did not get that. I think I got the analytical stuff from Dad. Because like Dad wasn't like a math genius. He got good at math. Like he took remedial math stuff in college.
He did.
Yeah. And now he became really proficient.
No,
in it,
he taught y'all. He was teaching y'all math before you got to that level.
But like I don't. So I think I got the analytical skills to do math well from Dad.
But I'm trying to think of more of an abstract quality,
like a personal quality.
So much of you is like me, though. Oftentimes, you and I are so much alike, and we butt heads a lot because of that.
Would you say that we're blatant-ish?
We're blatant-ish. If you are well, no, you got that from me too.
Oh no, I totally
I'm gonna say math. Because
that makes sense.
do. I really wish I was better at math.
You could make that abstract. Like I said, it's an analytical thing.
Yes,
it's an analyticalness that maybe you're not.
I would say yes.
That way.
Yeah. Sure.
Your turn. Not my turn.
What is your current occupation?
I'm a private music instructor. I teach guitar, bass, piano, violin, saxophone, trumpet.
Might have been easier to say what you don't teach.
Yeah, I teach a lot of instruments. I don't play all of those instruments, that's a whole nother topic for later. But I think sometimes it feels more like I'm a music coach, which a lot of music teachers don't like thinking of themselves that way. But I have enough knowledge on enough instruments that if you have some basics down, I can coach you and help you with practice strategies and get you where you're going. I have anywhere from 28-ish up to 35-ish students right now because I recently cut my hours back to spend time with the boy. But yeah, speaking of the boy, he's crying. I'm going to have to go get him. If you've been enjoying the show so far, you should take a minute to check out our affiliate link down below from Iced Tea Aesthetics. Iced Tea Aesthetics offers quality garments featuring awesome art from young, new artists with a dark anime Japanese style. Their t-shirts and hoodies are some of my favorite, and if you use the code Blatant10 on checkout, you can get 10% off your next purchase. We get a small kickback for any purchases made, and this is an awesome way to support us while grabbing some cool swag.
Another more direct way to support us is by subscribing to our Patreon at patreon.com/Blatant-ish. We'll be posting bloopers, extended cuts, and eventually episodes released a day early. Now, back to the show.
All right, I'm back from calming down my crying son.
And I've been drinking coffee.
Lots of coffee, caffeine.
Yeah.
But I think it was my turn. So, question 5 is:
Let's go.
Education. Do you have it, and how much?
I guess that really depends on who you're asking. But my formal education, I have a associate's degree in respiratory care. I have a bachelor's degree in health and wellness.
Ooh.
I know, right? And I'm currently almost done with my master's in public health.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's a long time coming.
That's still cool. That
So-
you have the bachelor's is cool enough. I didn't make it that far.
Well, you'll get it. I have faith in you. But yeah, so yes, I do have some educations.
Awesome. In some health stuff. I just do music.
Well, I mean, I wanted to be a doctor way back when.
You like
so-
save lives. I like teach kids how to
Initially,
hit things.
yeah. Initially, I was going to be a biology major, but
Cool.
life happened and you came along, and
Sorry, Mom.
no, don't be. I wouldn't change my life. But raising my children was more important than college, and so I went back later.
What you got for me?
I've got number 6, pizza.
Oh.
Pineapple or no?
Okay, so see, this has been a growing thing of mine because like I would say that Hawaiian pizza, like because I worked at Pizza Hut and it's a Hawaiian pizza, was like my favorite. Like growing up, ham.
You're one of those.
No, I'm not anymore. It's
Okay.
disgusting, and
I was like,
I should be ashamed.
You're one of those.
No, it used to be my favorite, and I've always liked the ham, like Canadian bacon, but the pineapple, for different stages of my life, I've either liked it or I haven't. And right now, I'm in the stage of like, if you eat pineapple on pizza, you're an awful human being.
It's all meat all the time.
Yeah, Meat Lovers is the best
Yes.
by far. Although recently, I've opened up to more vegetables. Like I can eat a Supreme. I can enjoy the Supreme.
All meat all the time. Although I do enjoy a chicken pizza, buffalo chicken, barbecue chicken.
You like jalapenos.
Okay, that's
Like
the exception.
sprinkled. You're weird. You don't like jalapenos. You like jalapenos like milked onto your pizza. Is the only way I know how to describe it.
Favorite pizza from Domino's.
Is a pepperoni.
Thin crust, pepperoni, baked with jalapenos, and then I pull the jalapenos
Yeah,
off.
that you just milk the jalapenos over the pizza and like squirt jalapeno juice all over your food.
So yes, that's the only
That's
exception to the rule.
That's the vegetable. It's I don't if it's even a vegetable, but you don't even eat those. You just flavor the pepperoni with the jalapeno.
exactly.
Milk.
Yeah.
It's going to be jalapeno milk.
Since
from
my
now
gastric
on.
sleeve, I can't get enough hot stuff. So
Mhm.
all right.
What are the 3 events that have impacted you the most in the last year?
Well, obviously, becoming a grandparent, having
Bubby changes everything.
the baby, yes, that has changed my life for the better in so many different ways. My friends tried to warn me what it was going to be like being a grandparent, but you truly can't adequately warn somebody until you're in that situation. But it's the best thing. It's even better than having your own children. I changed jobs. My previous job I had worked at for 17 years.
Way too long.
And it was just the right time, and it was time for a change.
For sure.
And I'm glad I did. I wish I had done it sooner.
Yeah, that's a big... after being there, like, literally a third almost of my life, or more, almost half of my life, that's a huge change.
For
That's
real. Yeah.
That's
But
a big thing to adapt to.
It was scary because I'm a creature of habit, and, I'm going from something I know to an unknown, but I feel like I've adapted well. But no, that was a huge change, and change is hard. But I wish I'd done it sooner. The last thing is my mom.
Mm-hmm.
My mom got COVID, and she passed away on February the 3rd of this year. And I love my mom. Just like the rest of us, she wasn't perfect. And being completely honest, she was a pain in my ass at times. But I miss her terribly. So, and that changes you. So both of my parents have passed away. But
It's weird because, like, even... I wasn't calling her every day, like you and her had that kind of thing where you talk to her a lot more consistent. But like even for me, it's just weird because she's just not there. That's so strange. It's the first time for me that I've had that like in the family. So it's just it's a strange feeling for sure.
Yeah, the hardest parts is like when I'm driving to and from, because in my previous job it was a 28 to 30 minute drive, and it's same thing, just a different direction now. And that's the hardest because especially when I get off in the mornings talking to her, I'd call her like around 7, and it wouldn't matter if she was asleep. I'd be like, "Hey, were you asleep?" She's like, "No, I was awake," knowing good and well she was asleep.
Dead ass asleep.
And exactly. Mm-hmm. And that's when we did most of our talking on the phone. I mean, she lives like 10, 15 minutes away from us, mm-hmm. so going over there, but we did a lot of talking on the phone. And
catching up about your week, that kind of stuff.
Exactly. And that's the hardest part.
Yeah, I imagine it's tough. Yeah.
So, what are your interests?
Oh, man. Right now, fantasy book immediately pops into my head.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah, I am reading. I can't even say I'm in the middle because I'm not yet. I'm in the first third of the Wheel of Time, which is a commitment. It's 14 books. They're all like 800 pages. I'm listening to the audiobook. Yesterday, I finally made the decision to pop my audiobook speed up to like 1.2 times because I'm going to spend the rest of my life listening to the series if I don't speed it up somehow.
I just found out that people listen to podcasts sped up.
I've had a hard time doing it, but it's that like, I'm trying to get to the point where I can listen to it at like 1.5, but right now it starts to sound like this. It's really squeaked up really fast, and I can't handle it. But like the 1.2 is enough. Like I've started to get used to it, and then I'm gonna try to go like 1.3, 1.4, and take it up. Because the book, if I can get up like 1.5, I'm cutting hours of listening time, which sort of also feels like it defeats the purpose because I want it to be longer because it's taking up those drives and stuff. But so fantasy books, immediately I collect them. Wheel of Time, Dragonlance, Forgotten Realms, all of it, any of it. I'm listening. I'm reading some Brandon Sanderson, Robin Hobbs, some new fantasy. Getting into the newer fantasy was new for me this year. Mm-hmm. I've listened to a lot of classic fantasy and I've read actually audiobooks are new for me this year too.
Yeah,
it's a whole nother topic.
You've gotten real into
I've
Audible
hours. I've got like 100 something hours already in this year, and way more money than I'm going to talk about. I really like audiobooks. Video games, for sure. Video games is a huge one. Minecraft. I've played Elden Ring. I've
played more Minecraft than
you've played more Minecraft than me. Sure. Dark Souls, Elden Ring this year took my main character within the first 2 weeks had
everybody was playing Elden Ring.
Yeah, my main character within the first 2 weeks had 200 plus hours. It was a problem.
Yikes!
It was a
Path of Exiles.
I haven't played Path of Exiles. I could talk about Path of Exiles a long time, but I haven't played it a lot. The last couple leagues.
We don't have that much time.
No, I don't. No, I really don't. Crusader Kings 3 was one that I was playing off of Game Pass. Game Pass is awesome. Mm-hmm. So video games, reading, music. I already talked about that a little bit. Playing drums, guitar. I don't consider playing drums a hobby. That's a weird one to say out loud. Drums isn't a hobby for me.
Considering
it's my job.
That's your main instrument.
Yeah, but that college changed that for me in a way that was really weird. Playing drums it's my main instrument, but it's not a hobby. I enjoy it, but in the same way that I enjoy like going to work, and like it's not. I can't relax and play drums anymore. Doesn't happen that way.
It's interesting. I would have not expected.
If I'm going to relax, I don't know if I've talked about it out loud before, but if I think of a musical hobby, it's guitar and singing. I enjoyed that. Drums is my job, and I think college did that to me. Like, damn you, formal education.
Yeah.
But it made drums not. I used to like, even at TVCC, I would go and like would enjoy like night drumming with the guys, but UT Tyler changed that for me. College changed it.
I think that changed a lot for you, to be honest.
Oh, sure.
To be fair.
Some music, video games, books, hanging out with Brooke, going went to Scarborough Fair. That was all fun. I like doing stuff like that. I'm a homebody. I can't help it.
Well, you get that honest.
Yeah.
Right, what you got for me?
Who is a person who inspires or motivates you?
When I was growing up, my person was my grandmother, my dad's mom. She pretty much raised me. She was always a source of inspiration for me because, she worked. Her and my from that generation of people, there were no gender roles. She worked, he worked. Mm-hmm. He cooked, cleaned, she cooked, she cleaned. So I grew up in a little bit of a different household than most people, especially of that generation like that.
Oh, yeah, that's odd. I didn't know that. I didn't know she worked.
Yes. She worked at a mill for a very long time, but that was before I was born.
It's like factory kind of stuff. Like
a factory. Yeah, we call them mills in South Carolina. Yeah, in South Carolina we call them mills. But
it's like a factory.
All my life she worked at the department store, Bennettsville, South Carolina, the Bennettsville department store. She worked and she did, but she was a pillar of the community. Our family's name meant something. You know, anytime you come to her house to visit, you were going to leave with, let's go out here to the pantry and let's get you, because they had a big garden and we used to can stuff.
Tell me a sugar.
Yeah. And, you know, she was just so generous and so charitable. I mean, she raised me and my sister, you know, and not just her 4 kids, but her brother's children when they passed, when her brother and sister-in-law passed away. And, you know, I guess kind of like me and your dad, you know, we have our bonus kids.
Bonus kids,
yes, exactly. Now, really and truly, you and your sister are my big inspiration. My motivation, especially when you were younger, because going back to school and getting a degree, trying to make more money, and it was always to make your life better, to make sure I could give you what you needed and what you wanted at times when we were able to.
It's neat. That's neat, from like inspiration to motivation. That's cool. Like you look up to somebody to looking like down and like forward to somebody.
Yeah,
That's
I
cool.
mean, you know, you and your sister were my biggest motivation.
No, I
Even
agree.
now, pursuing my graduate degree, I'm like, you know, trying to set that example. Like, if I can do it, you can do it. If you want to do it.
No, because for me, it's like, it's exactly the same. It's 100% the same. It's you and Dad always inspired me and like pushed me to do what I could do, and then that has transitioned immediately into it's like I want to make Mom and Dad proud, and I want to prove that everything they did for me, blah blah blah, I can do. But now it's fully like I've got to make a home for Avery. Awesome. Last one, right?
Last one. What TV shows are you currently binging?
I binged The Wheel of Time because I already talked about that.
Or just watching in general.
I'm really excited for the Lord of the Rings TV show. The new one, The Rings of Power, is going to be really awesome. I want to binge, but every time I sit down to do it, I end up doing something else. The Halo series.
Oh, yeah.
The guy that got to play the Master Chief, a lot of people are complaining. I think he's awesome. I think it really... I've only seen the first episode, but I think he nailed it. Moon Knight is one I'm watching.
Yeah, I love it.
And with that one and Halo, I'm almost...
Have you watched episode 4?
No.
I think it's out.
I watched... the last one I watched is like the first one.
The
from
third
like
episode.
The other you really get the other perspective.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Almost ashamedly, I catch snippets of Selling Sunset and the Kardashians from Brooke.
Guilty pleasure.
I'm not going to even say guilty pleasure. Like, I'm ashamed. But, like, it pulls you in because I watch it for the exact opposite reason that Brooke does. Like, when I watch it, it is usually from a place of like, disgust is a hard word, but like complete confusion at the extravagance. Where Brooke, I think, watches it and is kind of like, oh, cool, look at these people, look at this crazy house. Are there more wheels or doors in the world?
Oh my god. Such a hard answer.
Yeah, it's wheels or doors.
I'm gonna say doors.
Doors.
I'm just gonna go with doors. I'm team door.
I was team wheels, but I've shifted to team doors.
Yeah,
because like I drove, like I was watching, and like when I left the house to pick up Dad, there was a Winnebago, and I'm like, it's got 2 doors. It's got a side door. If I count the trunk as a door, do I count the gas panel as a door? So yeah, I've went to team doors, but I'm back and forth, and like even now, I'm already thinking in my head about all the different wheels, and I think I'm now team wheel.
I'm just gonna make a stand. Team door.
I can't.
Team door. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe and leave us a review on your listening platform of choice. After that, go call your mom.
You scrub.
Treat others with kindness and always be blatant-ish.